Michelle Smith, and I'm the supply officer on the USS Ohio Blue Crew. So the process for earning your Dolphins as a supply officer is that you get 12 months from the day of your qualification start, which is about 2 weeks from when you check into the boat, to qualify 5 things. So first is going to be basic officer, then you have contact manager, submerged and surface, ship systems, and fish. And your fish qualification is going to be whatever your command decides they want to ask you and test your knowledge on. Typically it's going to be a multitude of things from the time you start your qualifications until the end, but that will be the culminating event in which you will then earn your warfare device. The first step for me was 2 weeks after I got to the command. I was given all my qual cards, and then you just start managing your time and getting them all done. So you'll have boards and you'll have interviews. For the boards, it's going to be your commanding officer and your executive officer, as well as the other department heads in the command. And then for the interviews, it will just be yourself and the CO. You'll do interviews for your basic officer qualification and then as well as ship systems qualification. Questions that they're going to ask you are just basically going to come from anything that has to do with any of the either watches or subjects that it's about. And everyone's is different, right? It'll essentially be, you start with some baseline questions, how to use duties and responsibilities of the watch standard, right? And then talk about some casualties, and then it goes as well as you answer your questions. So if you're doing well and you're able to spit off all the answers, then it will go a little quicker. If it's getting a little tough for you, then they'll start asking some more prompting, easy questions. As far as anything to focus on, there's going to be other officers in the wardroom who have qualified this thing before you, who have probably done it with the same CO that you have. So we have this next to qualify binder, which is where everybody puts their interview sheets in the binder, and it'll essentially have everything they talked about and any lookups, which are your weak areas from the interview that you need to go back and do some more research on. And those will most of the time be the same between each person doing the interview. So as far as the format and timing of the interview, it really is just going to depend on how your command likes to treat boards. For me, all of mine were done here, not on the boat or not on deployment. So everything was just me and the whiteboard and putting out my knowledge, and that could take anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours. It just kind of depends on the expectations that they have for you as well, as far as how much they want you to know, right? Some people who are currently on deployment or operational, where they're doing all of this stuff every day, standing the watch, their expectations are a little different from us, where we're getting ready to go on deployment and trying to learn the fundamentals of everything. So during your board, the best way to handle any nerves or stress is to just take a second when someone does ask you a question, right, and just gather your thoughts. Good boardsmanship that I learned is writing everything down on the board as you're asked the question, right? Write down everything that you know, and then when you have everything written down, you can start explaining it from there, rather than kind of standing there in front of everybody, trying to remember the question as you're answering it, forgetting some of the things you said. You can have it written down and just reference back to there. Another big thing is that you're not gonna know everything that they can ask you, and that is completely fine. Take it as a lookup, go research it, and then come back to them and be able to explain it. The best thing to do is not try and fumble your way to the answer or try and get to yes by just kind of saying whatever's on the top of your head. Just say you don't know and look it up. So common mistakes that you can make during the board is just kind of stop, going back to talking about writing everything down on the board, it's just kind of staring and looking and kind of trying to jump around whatever answer you might have, or going or just don't try and pause on it. Don't try and think on it. If you can't get it, just say you don't know. Another thing that was really important is making sure that you're delivering your answers in a sure way, right? Don't say oh, I think, or end your statements with a question mark, right? Because they want to know that you're sure of your answer and you've done the research to know what you're talking about, right? So just being confident in what you say, and loud and confident about it, even if it's wrong. Just knowing that you have the confidence to say like, this is what my answer is. They'll tell you like, hey, no, like actually that's wrong, and then you'll be, yo, okay, let me go actually look up what the answer is. But just being confident and being proud of your answers and knowing that the knowledge you're demonstrating is the knowledge you acquired. So failing a board is completely normal. I experienced it myself, right? Like a lot of other officers experience it, and it is completely fine. When you get to the end and they let you know, hey, there's a few more things that we want you to research, a few more things we want you to be certain on, that is completely fine, right? Like take that as an opportunity to know you went for it the first time, you saw how it's gonna be, and so you know what to expect. Go look up those weak areas and, just get smarter on it, right? It's okay, it will happen to everybody, and no one will remember it when you finally do finish your qualifications. And, if it happens more than once to you, right, like nobody wants to see you not qualified, nobody wants to see you take too long to finish. So people will help you along the way, like you will get the guidance you need in whatever it is that you're struggling with, but just the best thing to do is not take it personal, because you will not be the first person and you won't be the last, and it is completely fine. Some other advice that I have for any future chops coming through the pipeline, right, is nobody is going to care about your qualifications more than you. And for me personally, there did come times where I felt like I was on an island and I didn't feel like I had the help that I needed. Right, but just making sure that you go and you talk to the other officers in the wardroom and just say, hey, I need help on this, or I don't understand this, right? Because nobody is going to tell you no. Nobody's going to tell you like, that's a silly question, you need to figure it out on your own. Like, everybody's willing to help you because they have been exactly where you are. So don't struggle alone, don't struggle in silence, and make sure you ask for the help when you need it. And if you do find yourself feeling like, by yourself and feeling like you're kind of stuck in whatever it is, just reach out. Right, like there's going to be plenty of other supply officers that are going through qualifications with you as well, whether it's down, on the pier or here in the off-crew building. Just ask for that help. Talk to the people at Squadron, because they also have gone through the same thing you do, or you are. And just don't struggle in silence. Ask for the help, and as well as being aggressive in everything that you need, because no one is going to babysit your qualifications. No one is going to come and check on you constantly. Hey, are you doing this? Are you doing this? You have to speak for yourself, and you have to advocate for yourself. So be your best and biggest advocate. Wait. So the process for earning your Dolphins as a supply officer is that what? So to handle your nerves and stress during the board is kind of, So the process for earning your Dolphins. Hey,